Each day, we're taking the next step. Each day is our next step for tomorrow. And to be honest with you, we're either taking steps forward, we're taking steps in place, or we're taking steps backwards. What is a step? A step is an actual decision. And every single decision we make is actually forming our habits. And our habits is what form our environment. So, what does taking a step forward look like? Taking a step forward is making a conscious decision to make progress. And everyone loves progress. Success is progress. Innovation is progress, right? And one thing about progress is it's usually uncomfortable. It always involves the unknown. So when you go to the gym to work out, you don't know how bad the workout is going to burn. When you decide that you're going to scale your business, you don't know how much effort it's going to take. Or when you decide you're going to change your family tree, it just involves some unknown variables. So it's usually uncomfortable. I remember being in Houston, Texas, and our company supplier that was supplying us with inventory wanted us to change our business model. They said, hey, we're no longer going to supply you with inventory if you stay the way you're doing business. We want you to go in store. We had over 120 people working with the company at the time. I had a ton of responsibility. We had about 4 or 5 locations at the time. And now we're in a position where we didn't have product coming in. So I literally remember telling one of my reps, I was like, hey, I don't care if I have to float to China with a check in my mouth, we're always gonna have inventory. And at the time, I had no connections with anyone overseas, no product manufacturers. I had absolutely no idea, it was unknown, how this was gonna work for me, my business, and my business partners, and all these families that were depending on this company to make a livelihood, including my own. So just by making a conscious decision to make progress, doors opened up, and in literally less than 90 days, I was in China with a broker, meeting with different manufacturers that made products that's similar to mine, and introducing new products. And the new products and the new manufacturers is what really helped my company go another level. We went from a 14 to 20% profit margin to almost a 300% profit margin. And all the entrepreneurs that we put in business for themselves in different parts of the country now had a much more profitable business, and we were able to supply them with product on a whole nother level. But for me, it was scary. I was 24. I didn't speak the language. No one in my family had ever been to China. I'd never been to college before. It was just going on a decision to make the next step on what my progress was going to be for my business. Now, progress for everyone looks a little different. Some people want to change their family tree. Some people just want to live a good, comfortable life. They really don't want to cause too many waves. Some people are shooting for the stars. You have to decide what progress is going to be for your life. Because regardless of what it is, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to involve some unknown, but it's always intentional. Progress does not happen on accident. And everything around us is making progress. It's just up to you on whether or not you're going to participate. So that's what progress looks like, taking steps forward. It's just like walking. And if you develop a habit of taking steps forward, you're always going to find a way in life to make progress. But what if we decide that we're going to take steps in place? What does that look like? It looks like this. It looks like movement, but going nowhere. It's a conscious effort, a conscious decision to not advance, to no longer learn. And most people in life, to be honest with you, no offense to anyone, but a lot of people unconsciously make this decision. Because again, our steps form our habits. And if we just get caught in the cycle of doing the same thing over and over again, that either our parents done, that we did yesterday, how we think, if we continue to think like we thought yesterday, and we don't remain a student, like even our thought patterns, challenging the way we think is a step. It's a mentality development. But one thing about stepping in place is it's comfortable. There's no resistance. It's like being at the bottom of a mountain with a backpack full of your goals, and you decide you're going to march in place. That backpack isn't heavy. There's not very much resistance at all, right? And you even look cool. You're not sweating, it's kind of easy. But the moment you decide that you're going to make progress and start going up this mountain with your goals on your back and everything that you said you wanted to accomplish in life, then it begins to get tough as we take that next step. So, are we challenging our thoughts every day? Are we becoming complacent? Because everything around us, again, is either growing or it's dying. It's taking its next step for either progress or digress. And every person watching this video knows someone that is doing the same thing they were doing yesterday, that is thinking the same way they thought 10 years ago. And everyone here, we're here on video right now because the world has changed. And for people who are still thinking and deciding that they're going to be the same person that thought like they did 10 years ago and thinks things are going to go back to how they used to be, you're fooling yourself. You're kidding yourself. Don't be that person. To be honest with you, I've been there before. Sometimes even success can make you take steps in place like, I've arrived. But life is not about arriving. It's about a continual growth towards becoming who you were intended to be. So that's what taking steps in place looks like. It looks cool. It looks comfortable. It looks like you're not going anywhere. You can look good doing it. But does it maximize your opportunity? Does it help you grow? It wouldn't have helped me grow. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Not all progress is either financial, it's not cultural, and it's not what a lot of people think it is. It's not just physical progress. There's something called emotional progress. Like, I remember when I was 10 years old, right? I'm the oldest of 4 boys. I grew up with 2 younger brothers in the house. I'm big bro, like, watched the family. Mom worked a bunch of jobs, right? 2 or 3 jobs all the time. That's really where I got my work ethic from. I remember on parent-teacher day, right, or career day, when everybody's parents used to come to the school. I'll never forget this. My mom could never make it because she had to work, right? And people's fathers would come. Now, me and my brothers have different fathers. I've met both of their fathers before, but around in the 5th grade, I was 10 years old. And I didn't know who my dad was, and it was a conversation that had never been had. It was just, people come to school with their dad, I'd be like, hey, how y'all doing? I go home, I see my mom, she's working really hard, I don't want to bother her. Just do the best I can in the house. But inside, part of me emotionally was starving. I was like, not only do I not know who my dad is, like, I don't even know his name, right? Like, we've never even had a conversation. And the conversation that wasn't had was creating something in me emotionally that just made me quiet. So people are like, oh, Bryan's always quiet. He's chilling unless he's playing basketball. But emotionally, I needed to make a step forward. So I remember in 5th grade, I asked my mom who my dad was. I'm like, what's his name? She told me, right? I was like, cool. All right, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna call him. You didn't get a chance to meet him? I'm like, cool. So I met him, right? Well, who she told me he was. His name was Brett. So long story short, I meet him, we hang out, and I realize I'm nothing like this guy. Like, that emotional part of me wasn't being fed, right? Something inside of me told me, that's not your father, Bryan. So long story short, I knew this was not my father. And it took me a long time to build up the emotional confidence to address my mother. On my 13th birthday, Mom says, hey, Bryan, what you want for your birthday? I said, I want you to tell me the truth. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you know what I mean. She's like, okay, you want to meet him? She knew exactly what I was talking about. So long story short, she takes me to go meet my real father, and immediately something was fed. But I had to make an emotional, uncomfortable decision to address my mom about something that was inside of me that wasn't being fed. So progress isn't always financial, physical, cultural. Sometimes it's emotional. But again, it's intentional. So again, don't be afraid to make those uncomfortable decisions. So either we're making steps forward, we're taking steps in place, or we're taking steps backwards. What does taking steps backwards look like? Have you ever tried to walk backwards? Like, it's uncomfortable. It's unnatural. We are not meant to take steps backwards. You ever seen a dog walk backwards? Have you ever seen a dog walk backwards? You ever seen a bird walk backwards? Naturally, we are not meant to go backwards. We're meant to move forward. So everything that is behind us, if we make an effort to go backwards, we usually put ourselves in a worse position than we were if we look forward. That's why they say the rear view mirror is so much smaller than the windshield. It's all up to you. Because in business and in life, if you're constantly looking back, there's no way you can be focused on moving forward. I'm a high school educated guy. I don't come from much financially, but in my mind, I believe that I'm here for a purpose to help people go another level. And what I believe in is that God's going to continuously elevate my life by me focusing on becoming a better person at every opportunity. And if I go back, whether it's habits, thought patterns, diet, and health, life isn't behind you. Life is not behind me. Life is in front of us. So let's not make the uncomfortable, unnatural decision to digress and go backwards. Because to be honest with you, that's not what we're here to do. Everyone here can help someone, help yourself, and help your family go another level by focused on being a forward moving person and intentionally taking the next step. So I really appreciate just the opportunity to be with you guys and talk about what the next step is, because it's so easy to get caught up in the surroundings of just the environment. And what happens is we become spectators of this event, and that happening, and just we start talking about what's going on, and we end up staying in one position and not moving. In order to move, it's intentional. You can't be distracted. What are your goals for you and your family? What are your goals for your business? As a student at St. Louis University, when you look back 10 years from now, what are you going to be able to say the steps that you took intentionally to put yourself in a position that's better than you were today? Like, one thing I love about this is that we can always become better. Every single day is the next step for our future. So, guys, hopefully you got something from this. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with y'all today and continue to take the next step forward and go another level.